Hello again, Sam here at Reloved Guitars. Nice windy sunny day outside. I'd like to introduce you to the second of this week's 3 new guitars passing through the workshop. This, folks, is the Squier Strat California, and I went for this. I bought this on the train on the way up to London, where I work, and I saw it going for a really good price. And a bit of research tells me that the exotically named California model isn't really that special. People in the know say it's a middling Squier Stratocaster. But for the price, it was worth getting, and also because it's great to have the experience of taking one of these apart and comparing it to the other Strats that we've been doing up and selling on through the Reloved workshop. So what have we got here? We've got the Squier Strat California series. You can see the little map of California on the end there. I think you might be able to see that. And the kind of history behind this, as far as I know, is I went out to a place in Bow in East London to get this. Traipsing down some canal path in the middle of nowhere I've ever been before, but came to the seller, who told me it was left in her flat by a previous tenant, so I guess anything she got for it was a bonus, so she was making on it. But as a result, I got it at a really good price. So what have we got? We've got a maple neck, quite a thick section neck, which I quite like. It's got a nice chunky C-section neck, maple fingerboard, which, if you look at it, is not terribly distinctive. It's just a fairly nondescript neck, actually. I'd have to say a very plasticky looking nut, which I'm sure isn't too much of a problem. It's quite low, so we might not need to do too much adjustment there. But everything about that neck sort of says so-so, nothing to write home about. It's got one of those horrible made in China stickers on the back that really doesn't make you feel good about anything you buy. It comes with, I suppose, slightly better tuners than the pressed out versions that we get with all the basic Encore guitars, and actually, in fact, the Affinity and Bullet Strats and Tellys. So you'd think this is slightly one step up. And with this guitar, sorry, I've got a fly buzzing around in here. With this guitar, they're quite loose and there's some problems with them. So whether or not we'll be able to kind of clean them up and tighten them up and make them work without buzzing and rattling is anybody's guess. So we might have to ditch those in favour of some Wilkinsons, again, which puts the price as a price to it. But yeah, so a bunch of Squier looking tuners. You've got Squier on them, and a couple of stickers on the back here, which I think I'll take off, but they show some sort of, looks like some Far Eastern origin for this guitar. It's in quite an attractive sunburst. It's a very, very orangey red sunburst. It's a little bit dirty all round, and a few scratches and a couple of chips on the edges. Basically, it's not bad conditioned bodywork, and it's quite a refreshing looking sunburst. It's quite warm. I like it. And then we've got the usual basic configuration. The bridge settings look like they've been set. The intonation's been set by somebody in the past. It has that sort of telltale positioning. But I quite like the fact that it's a chunky C-section maple neck. I quite like playing that. The strings on this are completely abominable. They are those sort of 10-year-old strings which have like black mould growing on them in stripes. So they will go straight away. And the pickups have got a little silver writing on each of them that says Squier by Fender. And a bit of research says that doesn't matter how much we write on them, they're not that great. Having plugged it in this morning, go away fly. Having plugged it in, they might not be great, but they are quite high output. They were putting out more power, I suppose, or volume than either of the other two guitars I picked up this week. So they may not have the tone, or they may not impress many guitarists with their tone, but they are quite high output. Anyway, so Squier Stratocaster, California. Does it make you think of California? Think Beach Boys? No, not really. But it will polish up nicely, and we will get a nice plain guitar out of this. It's got the 1962-y, 65-ish shaped headstock on it, which is, up till now, has been the only style or size that I've got. But I can't wait to get this apart, clean it, and do, start setting it up. If I can get the machine heads working better, I don't think I'm going to change too much on this. I think I'll just concentrate on tidying it up, cleaning it up, and making it play really well. Because I think it'll be a nice player. Because of the chunky neck, I think it'll play well, and it'll be fun to play. So I have seen them selling for actually over £100 on eBay in second hand. So I think we can get well up into that range, particularly with a nice pro setup. And the frets are spectacularly filthy. But again, it's just age and goo, and they'll clean up nicely, and we'll of course do all the normal fret leveling and checking. So, California, here we come. Well, welcome to the Reloved Guitars workshop. We're going to work on this Squier California, Stratocaster California. As you can hear, it's got the worst, deadest possible strings in the universe. Truly dreadful old strings, but on the plus side, nice sunburst finish, and with a bit of luck we'll get it back to being a playable, enjoyable guitar. So let's go straight into it. I think I'm going to set my timer for this. I want to see the amount of time we're going to take on this. So put it to airplane mode, get the timer up. No, we're going to go backwards. Cancel stopwatch. Okay, well, we've kicked it off, and take the brightness down a bit. Right, let's do it. Let's take it apart. Get everything off good clean. Horrible sounding machine heads at the moment. Lots of vibration. We'll clean as we go, and we've checked it out. The electronics work. There's no problems there, so we'll have a look underneath anyway. So I suppose step one in this process will be the filthy old strings off. Just have a look at all the parts really and clean them up bit by bit, put them back together again as we go. I'm just doing this on a timer out of interest, not that we would normally do things deliberately quickly, but in this instance I'm just kind of interested really to know what sort of time we actually take on each one of these things. Not that they're all, none of them are, there's no standard length one or standard job. And this is going to be difficult. So you get a situation like this where it's proving difficult to get the strings out, you might as well just go for the removal. Get these things out. Ourselves a bit more room to work. strings to the bin. Start to warm up, of course. So, plate, nothing spectacular. Springs, cool, everything in order. And often, including this case, we get a string stuck. It's really annoying because it's such a small thing and you start fiddling around with it for ages. Okay, that's all of them out. So we'll clean up as we go, so I might as well give that plate. Back plate a bit of a clean. I've got a trusty Mr. Sheen here for the purposes. It could be done with water, or it can be done this way with a bit of polish. Much of a muchness, really. That over there. Next on our list of things, I think I'd like to, when I like to take the machine heads off, I'd like to have a look. I mean, one of them is a bit loose. Maybe actually a couple of them are a bit loose now I look at it. This guitar had some problems with rattling machine heads, so they're loose. So I'm going to start by tightening them up, because I think we can do without taking the whole lot off if we don't have to. This is about getting a good job done in a shortish time. The question is, I suppose, to do that, do we need to remove everything? Well, not exactly everything. I think I will take the neck off in this case. Again, making sure I get the right or a good fit screwdriver head, because it's too easy to mess up the neck screws. This is worth watching out at this point to see whether there's a shim underneath the neck, and if so, where. Okay, so that's my plate. Again, before I take the neck off, I'm going to turn this over and just make sure I have a look under here as I take it off, see if there's any shim. In this case there isn't one. So I'm going to put this off to one side. So what I want to do is as little as I need to do to make it sure everything's in good order and working well. Certainly in this case it's just a race against the clock, so it's good to have a plan as well, which I currently don't have. But what I would do anyway along the way is give this a good rub down with polish, give it a good clean up. No harm in making sure as we go that everything's in place and working, but get rid of some of the grime as we go. There's not a bad piece of paintwork on this. There's a couple of little blemishes, but actually most of it comes out. And really, of the little repair I've done here with a tiny bit of black cellulose paint. Often you can just make a small repair like that, and it doesn't have to be done with lacquer on top of that. Just a bit of black on its own will often make the difference. If you want to be completely precise, of course you'd do the whole thing properly from start to finish, proper paint job. But a lot of these guitars just need a small touch up with the dark bit, just to cover over the wood, the chip where it goes down to the wood, so it doesn't look bad. But this is in good nick. There's a chip there. But paintwork wise, it's actually better than a lot of guitars we've got here. Good clean between the pickups, which doesn't often get touched for years. Now this one, I'm not going to even take the knobs off. Sometimes it's worth taking the knobs off because people leave plastic underneath still attached, and sometimes you can see that it's obviously covered in years of grime, or it's built up under there. But in this case, it's pretty good. Pretty good. Could, again, technically I could take all of that off and do them one by one, which in the past I've done. Sometimes I have a bit more time than this. So everything about this is in very good shape. I wouldn't really need to do anything more to this. I'm going to put this off to one side because I think, apart from checking the neck and doing the work on the neck, this is as much as I need to do here. Which means it could be the quickest one we've done for a long time. So this is a nice C-section maple neck. It's interesting, it's got a bit of a bit of the skunk stripe has either fallen in or broken. It's hidden anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, nice chunky C-section. Slightly worried about these tuners. They were rattling too much for my liking. But we'll try the obvious thing, which is making sure they're all properly done up, and only do some more work on them if that's absolutely necessary. Now this screwdriver head is beginning to wear out a bit, so I'm going to press a couple of the newer ones into service. It's a nice little set, Japanese watchmaker screwdriver. I'm going to be bombarded by moths here, I think. I'm in danger of constantly getting the wrong screwdriver head here. Rather a large number of them. So we can get the right one and not strip any heads. See, that isn't right either. Got to go finer. They're very, very small, these string tree screws. Hard to get the right head for them, but I'll pull them off anyway. It gives us a bit more, makes it easier for us to clean around them, basically, if the string trees aren't in the way for the time being. Okay, so they're just got to remember that the smaller one is near the back and the higher one is near the front. So you can see the grime on here. It's going to need a good clean. I'm going to take some rubbing alcohol to get rid of this horrible sticker. Which obviously meant something for somebody a long time ago, but because it doesn't mean anything to us, it's going to come off. It pretty much does in one fell swoop of gooey stuff, pleased to say, and it's suddenly history. Go away. So 14 minutes in, we are done on the body. Now what I want to do is I want to get a very, very fine paper, very fine indeed, and give this neck a little clean. To do that, I will use one of my micro mesh things, and I think we need something like, I'm going to take a 3600 just to be on the safe side. Don't want to damage the maple. So a bit of water, very high grit micro mesh paper, and then a bit of backwards and forwards with the old elbow grease. I don't know if you can see, but there's goo coming off. Some of it's on the paper already, but as with always, it's pretty much always the fretboard is always a dirty mess. I'll use this to get into the edges in a minute. Slightly annoying thing about this shed is when you start polishing things, the whole shed vibrates all over the place. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to do it with a higher one. This time I'm going to put this on here. Just get up to the very edges. And then the next part of the process, once we've cleaned this, is to set the relief in the neck so it's straight, and then we'll start the fret check. Six, 8,000, 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, 12. Right. Okay. So the nut on here doesn't look terribly spectacular, but we'll see. Proof of the pudding will be in the playing at the end. I mean, it looks okay, it's just a little bit on the plasticky side for my liking, so it might be a bit sticky. it's not guaranteed it will be. Right. So the next thing we'll do is we'll make sure the neck is straight before we perform the fret check, which it isn't. It's arched like that. So we'll get ourselves the Allen key. Not that one. I tidied all these up earlier on, so that might have been not such a good idea. Depends whether we're imperial or metric. Not quite. Doesn't feel good. Got to get it right. We don't strip anything or. One of those two, possibly, maybe. If it isn't, if we don't have it on here, then I'm going to have to go through my spare Allen keys packet over here, which I'd sort of hoped to avoid doing. This is why I sorted them all out. I'm not sure. Hard to tell. I don't want to get this wrong and end up breaking anything. Well, I think that will do. It's not, I didn't really want to get a dozen more of these out. In fact, that one feels more positive. Okay, we'll keep these two out as a concession. Okay, so I completely forget which way around this is. I think to put relief into the neck we'll go clockwise. It's very stiff. So if I'm wrong, then we'll end up with a neck that's like that, in which case we'll come the other way, and that's really arched. So let's come the other way, back to where we were, and then we'll come back out and do a bit more. So judging by the feel of that, that was cranked right up to the limit in the wrong direction, and that's now begun to level it out. There's still a little bit to go, but give it a minute or two to settle itself. So anti-clockwise is to give us relief. It's difficult to remember this because you forget it every time. Okay, a little bit more. So the key thing is to remember that when you're doing fret leveling, your neck has got to be flat. You don't want it flat when you're actually playing it, or when it's under load with the strings. You do need a bit of bow in it, but for fret leveling it's got to be flat. So the first thing you do is, when you get it off the guitar, is adjust the truss rod until it's flat. That's pretty good, that'll do. Of course, under pressure, when it's on the desk here, it will change shape slightly, or gravity even, but that will do for now. So we're going to do our basic fret checking, and that's where we use the fret checking tool while we're being completely attacked by flying insects. So 23 minutes into it. Fret checking tool lets us check whether any of these frets are higher than the others, and we do it by quite a simple but clever process of using a straight edge. And the straight edge lets us, we put the straight edge across 3 frets at once, and if the middle one is high, it'll rock and click on the frets on either side. The fret rocker has 4 different sides on it, so that we can change them as we go down and the frets are close together. So beginning here, remembering that the neck is currently straight, courtesy of our truss rod adjustment. Okay, so there you go, straight away. Now what I've forgotten to do, which I'm going to do now, total oversight, and I'm not going to stop recording on this one because I want it to be exactly the full time. Actually, I will stop recording in a minute, but just to show you, start off, what we're going to do is we're going to cover this with masking tape. Piece of wood, please. Where's my piece of wood go? Here's my piece of wood. Yeah, so we're going to cover the fretboard with masking tape. In fact, this is quite a boring looking fretboard if ever I saw one. It's neither. It's just, yeah, it's average looking. It doesn't really matter since your fingers don't really touch it very much, but it'd be kind of nice if it was, if we even had it a little bit smoother. I think it's slightly spoiled by the stuff that's already on that paper. Yeah, well, we'll leave it like that for now. We can add some oil to it if we need to. Okay, so first step in this is masking tape. The idea here is to protect the fingerboard and leave the frets exposed. Takes a little while to do. There's no quick way around this, but we'll do our best to get it done. I might pause the video and you won't have to sit through it. I saw a Fender Stratocaster California on sale on eBay today, and it's going for a couple of £100, which is not a lot for a Fender Stratocaster. As I say, my research showed that popular opinion didn't have an awful lot to say about this Squier California model. Either way, it didn't get bad reviews, and it didn't get particularly good reviews, so middling sort of guitar. Now, I think we can do a lot to change that. Not least, I think it's got a really nice section neck, makes it a really pleasant neck to play. So, while some of the online pundits don't get excited about it, it's my view that it's a good basic guitar. I think we'll be surprised when we get it cleaned up and restrung. thing to remember when working on the neck, it can seem like it takes an awful long time, and of all the parts it's very, very fiddly, and this bit does take quite some time to do. But you've got to remember that this is probably the most important part of the guitar. It's this bit. The reason we're spending time on this bit is because this is the bit that, if it's messed up, then it will make a huge impact on how the guitar plays. But equally, if we get it right and take care to set it up right, then the payoff is that we get a really quality playing guitar for very little money. And that's the purpose of this. There's no easy quick fix to this. So I'll save you the misery and I'll come back when this is done. Okay. So, ready to go. So we need a marker pen, and we need our fret rocking tool, fret rocker. Okay, so we look just alongside first and we check for clicking noises. When we find them, we mark the fret, and that means this fret is high. So we mark the fret, and alongside it on the masking tape we mark that as well. Move to the next one. That one is high almost all the way in the opposite direction. Again, mark that, mark that. Actually, it's interesting, that's almost all of that fret except one little tiny spot. Okay, so some pretty big discrepancies here. It's not often we find so many big spots, high spots, so straight away, but that's okay. We have a way of sorting that out. So we carry on all the way up the fretboard, finding and marking whatever spots we find. And the thing about having high frets on your guitar is high frets are a real problem because they will make notes choke off or strangle. And it also means, as a result of that, that if there are high frets on your guitar, the only way the previous owner, God, that's terrible. I haven't felt one as bad as that since I've been doing this. When you have high frets, the previous owner would have solved it or cured it by doing the only thing they can do, and that is raising the action, the overall playing action of the guitar, to lift the strings above the problem area. And if you do that, you can get away with it because the action becomes so high that the string, even when fretted, clears the problem fret. Now, the frets on this already are pretty bad, and I've seen some guitars with as many, if not more, high frets than this, but these are extremely high. So that would make will put a great restriction on the range of action you could have on this guitar, meaning you're forced to have a high action, which, as anyone who's played guitar before or a learner would know, just makes learning to play difficult. and it makes it, even if you're an experienced guitarist, a really high action makes playing unpleasant, tiresome. Terrible. So the question you have to ask is, why are these frets in this condition? And now this is a really good opportunity to make that sort of general point about mass-produced guitars. People think that you have to pay a load of money to get a really well playing guitar. You don't. Everything about this neck here in essence is perfectly good. You've got a piece of maple, nice thick C section, like a traditional old Fender style neck. You've got 22 frets, you've got a nut, you've got some tuners which are okay, they're not spectacular. So there's nothing essentially wrong with it, but straight away what I can tell you is wrong with it is that there are a number of frets here, the ones that I've marked in black, but, that are high, and actually they're substantially high, which means you would have to have a really high action to overcome that problem, which makes the guitar unpleasant to play. And there's no reason why it should be like that. Maybe part of it is because the frets haven't been pressed in as far as they should have been. That could be one thing. And some people, when they do this work on guitars, that's the first thing they would do, is to tap all the frets in again. And sometimes that cures the high fret problems for them. And that's usually the source of the problem, the fact that the fret is unevenly seated in the guitar. Now I'm a bit nervous about doing that, really, because for me, I think the gluing in of these frets in position is a pretty sensitive thing. So if you think about it, somebody's cut, a machine in the factory has cut very fine slots into which these carefully curled or bent, perfectly bent pieces of fret wire are then tapped into place. Now it's true that for these things to be so high, it means they've not been tapped into place properly, but in the factory where they have been tapped into place, they've been glued at the same time, and then all of that sets with the fret in the wrong place, slightly too high, and it leaves the factory with the fret drying, the glue drying and sealing the fret into place, slightly high, very high according to all these, and then off it goes to the distribution centre or whatever, and then it ends up in a shop and it sits there for a few months with the glue hardening until we get it, or somebody buys it, person before me, long before me, keeps it for a few years, and eventually, maybe 10 years down the line, it ends up on the workshop bench of somebody like me in their shed. And you might say, well, why don't you just get your little hammer out and give these pesky frets a tap? And in my experience, I think the only thing that would do would be to break the glue, possibly snap, like fracture it, crack it, and actually it would, if nothing else, it would push the tang of the fret further into the wood, which wouldn't grip it any tighter, I don't think. My suspicion is that it would probably actually in time become even looser as a result of having hit it like that. So I'm going to start with the assumption that all of these frets are as fixed into place as they're ever going to be, with the glue set many years ago, and that if I'm going to make an adjustment, I need to make an adjustment from the top. Right? If I'm going to reduce the fret, I'm going to do it from above, and I'm not going to mess with the seating of the fret, which is already in place. Just that's the theory behind the way I do it. and in a sense it means the way I do it is going to be quite destructive. Judging by this little map here, this basically needs a good fret leveling. So for me to do this, I'm going to take a bit off pretty much all of these frets using a fret file. But as I say, I would rather do that than get some rubber hammer and bounce it off these frets. You won't be able to see it on this camera, but when you look on the side of a guitar, particularly one with a rosewood neck, when you look at it side on, you'll be able to see, it's not so easy, but you'll be able to see where the fret tang sits deep in the wood with its little bond of glue. And if I go around bashing that, my worry is that that's going to actually loosen it, not seat it further in. So with that logic in mind, now what I've done is I've marked my map of the high spots, and there's so many on this. There's a couple of options I could have done at this point. One of them is to use a bit of sandpaper and a flat block. It could be a piece of sandpaper, 320 grit sandpaper, and a rubber or something like that, and you can literally take each one down tiny bit at a time and then check it again. That'll take a long time with this, or you can use a fret leveling file like this, which is specially made for the job, and it's 6 inches long and very, very flat, or it should be anyway. And this gives us a fairly safe or consistent filing action all the way down. What we do know about this is that it's going to take quite a lot off, so we need to start on the edge, a couple of strokes, move it towards the middle, a couple of strokes, and move it across. And we'll see as we go, we'll see the black marker pen being taken off the top of the frets where this thing bites. Okay, so I'm just going to go straight into it. That one feels so high. Caught it. That's not bad going. These frets are pretty new, so I have got a lot of leeway with taking metal off these. Okay, and having a look at that now, it's taken a layer off pretty much everything all the way down the whole neck of the guitar. And what I'll now do is just run the fret rocker over all of this again, or most of it. We'll just whiz along some tiny little bits, nowhere near as bad as it was before. But if I still find myself with some uneven bits, we'll just do it again. We'll keep on taking it. Kind of hard to do this without it chattering. Okay, that should be just about right. Again, you've got to be cautious. This is destructive. It means that if you take too much, you'll run out of fret. A couple of little problems still there. Now I might be tempted now to revert to secondary mode for the fixing of this last bit. For that I'll need me a piece of reliable 320 grit and a block to do it. So I'll just go back again to the beginning. Now this is a neck, as you could tell when I was doing this, that is beset by substantial problems with its unevenness. And this one is high all the way across still. So this one was sticking way out. Again, we're just going to take a bit more off that with the manual method. And that little tiny bit there is enough to do it. A little tiny bit in the middle of this one. So this has slowed down the process a little bit. A little bit on the edge there. But your 320 grit is enough to do the whole job. You don't need to use a big file. 320 grit is capable of taking off metal, so that you will eventually get down to the level. Again, this is another one. I can see by the width of the amount that the file's already taken off, another one that's substantially too high. Like I said, probably not seated correctly, but I don't want to fix that by bashing it harder, trying to make it seat deeper. If it's not in, it doesn't want to go. It's probably just going to break that original glue bond, if you ask me. So my instincts say don't do it. It says take the metal off the top. If it's sticking up way too high, take the metal from above and come down until you reach the place where it's about right. A little bit high still in that spot. Now this is a Squier guitar. It's a California. Somebody will have bought this in a set, or maybe not even a set, but as a shiny, lovely looking guitar, and they will have bought it with this level of problems. It's hard to believe, isn't it? And you sort of assume that it won't have this problem. You assume that in these kind of basic areas it'll all be sorted out. But actually, when you think about it, how's a factory going to get this spot on right every time? And it's a very imprecise process. So if you stop and think about what it really entails, getting the surface of a fret to sit at an exactly perfect level height with all the other frets around it, that's quite some challenge, engineering challenge at the best of times. And reality is that a machine isn't exactly going to do that. Well, certainly not the manufacturing machines that they've been using to make guitars probably since the 50s or whatever. So you've got a big challenge. How do you get something that's quite a crude process, shoving a metal strip into a piece of wood, or a little trench made out of wood? How do you get a piece of metal to sit in there and end up at exactly the right height above the fretboard, so that it's not only the right height above the fretboard, but it is exactly the right height in comparison to all the frets that it sits with? And the truth is, I'm sure you can begin to see, if you really think about it, the only way you're going to achieve that is by doing this. And the question is then, where is this done? And the obvious answer, it's not done in the Fender Bullet factory or the Fender Squier California factory. So if it isn't done there, and I can guarantee you it's not done in guitars and keyboards, they won't be taking these things out of their box or out of their packing cases and spending an hour or two doing what I'm currently doing. Okay, they won't. You know damn well they won't be doing it. So if Squier aren't doing it, and if Guitars and Keyboards or whoever isn't doing it, then who is doing it? Because it's got to be done if your guitar is going to play properly. So there's no prizes for the correct answer, which is nobody's doing it, obviously. And as a result, your guitar is going to arrive in your hands looking very shiny, and you're going to feel very cool about having it. But it's going to arrive into your hands with a bunch of frets like this one sticking a mile above the other ones around it, with the result that you aren't going to be able to have a low action. And if you do put a low action on your guitar, you'll get strings that choke, notes that choke off, and strings that buzz and won't play. And so as soon as you try that trick, you'll hear that and you'll back off and raise the action again. And eventually you'll settle for the best you can get with what you've got, and it won't be brilliant. And then chances are it won't be very good. If it's this guitar, it won't be very good. And then I wouldn't blame you. You'll chuck it onto eBay and go and find something else. And if you're lucky, you'll get one. Maybe you'll pay more money, and by chance you'll get one that's been set up properly. Because statistically speaking, the more money you pay for a guitar, the more likely somebody will have put that through the hands of a guitar technician, or the more likely it will have been set up for the customer in the shop. Okay, so we're at least 20 minutes into that since I started doing this, and now 20 minutes of hard labour into it. I can tell you that we have frets that relative to each other are level, which is the foundation you need if you were going to play, get a nice action on your guitar that you're going to enjoy playing. And there's no way around it. There's no other way of getting it. And you've seen now what we had to do that. That's quite extreme. And you've heard me ask the million-dollar question. A little bit left to do that. The million-dollar question is, if I don't do it, who else is? And the answer, as you full well know, is not the manufacturer, not the distributor, and not the guitar shop that sells it. So the answer is nobody. And you've seen and heard, heard the clicking, and you've seen the marks that show the high frets. I'm not making that up. You've seen it, you've heard the little clicks to prove it, and you've seen me take a very, very hungry file and scrape a lot of metal off those frets. A bit more, tiny bit to balance there. And then you've seen me follow up to recheck the levels and take care of any little tiny last bits that are still uneven. Take care of them with a bit of 320 grit sandpaper and a rubber block or 9-volt battery or whatever you want to use. And a bit more there. Other than that, we're done. And you've seen that it's taken me 25 minutes now to get this right, with the neck perfectly straight, with the truss rod set perfectly straight. So 25 minutes on, we now have a guitar the way it should be, or should have been, or the frets at the levels they should have been when this guitar came into your hands, but it wasn't. Okay, so there's 25 minutes of my experience and hard work gone into this bit alone to turn this into a guitar that you are buying and it's going to play well for you. You're not going to get that anywhere else, that's the point. Now, next part, we have to do the next bit of this job. I'm going to pause and restart. Okay, next bit after the fret leveling comes the fret reprofiling. So we've done all of these frets now, and what I'm going to do, what you need to do if you're doing this, is you put your marker pen back over all the frets, even the ones all of them in this case, because we've scraped the top off all of them. And this is the start, or the preparation for the next stage. I guess there's 3 stages to this process of sorting the frets out. One is checking and marking the high frets. There's going to be more stages here. First stage is checking, using the fret rocker and checking the high frets and marking them up. Second stage is filing them level. Third stage is going to be reprofiling each fret, and basically in English language that means currently you've got a load of frets with a flat top scraped off by the file. Reprofiling means that we take a file and we reshape that flat spot into a rounded profile so that it's a bit more like the original fret that came with the guitar. Nice and smooth, a nice little humpback shape. And then the final stage, I guess, is to sand the frets level, not level, sand them smooth so we get all the file marks out of it, and we use progressively smaller and higher grit sandpaper until we have mirror smooth frets that have been reprofiled and are now ready to polish. And we've finished the whole task with some polishing using a Dremel. Now that whole process is probably going to take, in total, by the time we've done that, and I'm doing it pretty quickly from fair experience base of having done it lots of times, that whole process is probably going to take us about an hour minimum. It might take you an hour and a half easily. I've got all the bits and pieces I need ready to hand. I've got a timer running on my iPhone, because one of the things I don't really know is how long this actually does take. So just to tell you the principle of what this is then, I've got a drawing I did earlier on for another guitar. Maybe I'll do another from scratch. So I'll keep it really quick. So we started off with a fret. There's one, and there's another one, and that one was too high. We needed to be level with that one. So we took a file and we chopped that top bit off the fret with the file, leaving us with a square edge, a square profile across the top. So that's no good, because it will make impossible for the strings to bend properly, but also it'll mess up your intonation, because it will move the center point of your fret, which by about half a millimeter, but it's still enough to spoil your intonation. So what we really want to do is we really want to take this, we don't want this, we've got this point here, right, which is the perfect level. We don't want to take any more material off the top of this square fret. We don't want to make it lower, because then we'll be lower than this one. So what we want to do is we want to take that and shave down the sides so that we end up with a nice smooth round shaped fret, the way this one is, and that means we take a little bit off the sides, but we don't take any more off the top, so we stop when we get to the top. So this is a job next of working on the sides of the fret to come up the side of the fret on both sides, but stop so that we don't touch the top. And the clever little trick here about the permanent marker is, if I get my fret file, which is a 3-sided file with a soft edge or a rounded off edge here, so I can use it without wrecking the masking tape. But if I start working with this, I won't really be able to see it very well with this camera, but if I work on this fret, I can feel the file biting the side of the fret, which I know is the bit I want to kind of round off. And once I start biting the fret, I can tip my file over to come towards the top of the file. And then I do it on the other side, but I don't go over the top. I just stop short of the top because I don't want to touch the very top of this fret, you see. That's the whole point. And how do I know I haven't touched the top of the fret? You won't be able to see it too well, but down the edge, down the middle of that fret, if I've got it right, there'll be shiny metal either side where I've taken that edge off that I wanted to do, but right down the middle of this will be a little thin, maybe 0.5 millimeter wide or millimeter wide strip of black marker pen, and that tells me I haven't touched the top of it, which tells me in turn that if I get that on each of these, then all of these frets will still be at the same level that I just set them at after all that hard work. So that's the job, okay, is to go down every single, I'm going to put on some glasses so I can zoom in here, is to go down all of these frets, one after another, and file them down the sides and just a little bit onto the top edge, and then stop, so that we have a tiny black strip of marker going down right down the centre at the top, which we know is untouched, and we know that it's the exact height where our fret levelling file left off. Now some of these frets have had so much taken off because the frets were so high. This is quite a substantial job, this bit here. You really feel it's cutting quite a bit of material because we've got a very flat top to deal with. But again, we can just be careful, leave that little black strip along the top. Move on. You can buy very expensive, probably very effective tools for this part of the job. They're a lot of money, and I haven't been willing to spend on them. But I also like the idea of learning to do this manually this way, because it's quite a skill and it's very satisfying to have done this by hand. Even if it adds a little time. Maybe if I was doing this all the time, I might have invested in those tools. The beauty of these guitar fixing tools is that they cost quite a bit of money, and it isn't totally, absolutely vital that you have to have them. You can do these jobs without them, but they do pay the money to save yourself some time. That's basically it. The main challenge here in this job is to stop your file from riding over the top of the fret. You don't want to further go over the top and scratch the top even more than it's already been done by the fret levelling file, because you don't want to make any more marks, but more importantly you don't want to actually take any height off that fret, because that's the whole purpose of this, is to keep that top part the same height as we just got it a short while ago with our careful, painstaking hard work. So far it's going alright. As you can probably guess, the next part of this is going to be the part where we take this rather rough battered frets that we've actually an hour ago were very healthy, actually, new looking jumbo frets. We're now going to take these rather battered frets, and our job will be then to smooth them with sandpaper, turn them back into smooth, shiny frets that we'd be happy to put some strings on top of. And I have to confess I haven't quite got that process 100% sorted yet. It's a combination of getting the right levels of sandpaper and spending a certain appropriate optimum amount of time working with each one, and as yet I'm still not quite there. I'm erring on the side of caution, which means I'm getting to the end of the job with the frets at the right height, because I've been very careful not to use any rough papers. But what I'm ending up with is quite a lot of scratchy file marks still on top of the fret. So I'm getting kind of the right, keeping the height right, but not smoothing off some of the fret damage, which is what we really want to do. So I'm going to have to use slightly more abrasive papers earlier on to try and remove some of the main fret marks before I move on to the really fine polishing stuff. Because if I go to the fine polishing stuff too early, we get mostly a shiny finish, but we never actually tackle some of the deeper gouges that the fret file left, which is a shame because they're the ones that kind of interfere with you trying to bend a string when you're playing blues or something. So only a few frets to go now, and this is I say this every time I do this particular job, but this is the bit where you really have to have a lot of patience, because if you rush this bit, it'll blow all your good work. And if you get this bit, you do this bit carelessly, you'll put it in a positive way. This is the bit that really makes the difference. When all this is done, and you put the guitar back together again, and you set the action, and you start to play those chords, grab a handful of open chords, and you can feel how easy it is to fret the chords, and yet how rich the whole thing sounds. You'll know that this was time well spent. But right now it feels like a lot of work. But the good news is you only have to do one of these to know how big a difference it makes. And once you know how big a difference it makes, it'll be enough to motivate you to carry on. And I've found that to be true, even though a lot of these guitars I'm doing this too in order to sell them. I still stick it out with as much care and diligence as if I was keeping it, because I know and I care about the result that I get out of this, and I know that the experience when somebody buys one of these guitars and gets to experience how fantastic a budget guitar well set up can be, and I know what that that surprise, that thrill can be like, which is why I put the time into it. Nearly there. See, I'm using my forefinger occasionally to help me, guide me to reach over. It's a hard bit when you're reaching over to the top of the fret. It's all too easy to skip across the face of the fret to the other side, and you've really got to guard against that, because I just did it there but got away with it. The reason why is because you're in danger of taking more metal off the top of the fret when you do that, and that's, again, as you know, what we're trying to avoid doing. Since we put all this effort into levelling the damn thing in the first place, you don't want to go and make it all uneven again. And 5 frets away from not the end, not even the beginning of the end, as Winston Churchill once said, but maybe the end of the beginning. A bit pessimistic, but realistic, I think, as well. Four to go. Is now killing me officially. wouldn't ordinarily use the Dremel this late at night. I'm going to do it this time because I've got the timer running and I need to complete the job, so I know how long it takes. And we are on the last one now. That one's just about done. Right, straightens up. Zoom up. Right, okay. So that's the reprofiling done. Don't know if you can see there, but every fret has been scraped either side with a little thin black line left along the top. Now, here's the bit that I've got wrong a few times. Not got wrong exactly, but hasn't worked out. I'm going to, I normally go to 600, then an 800, and so on, followed by right the way through to approximately 12,000, but not approximately, exactly 12,000. And this time I'm going to go with I'm going to take the risk of doing a bit of, I'll keep these in order, doing a little bit of 320, which is what we just used to do the spot repairs. But I'm going to do a little bit of 320 to take the very top scratches off each one of these. And do the same on each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that was a little made-up technique there, but what I was doing is trying to give myself a head start on getting rid of some of the big scratches which I haven't managed to get out before I go to the lighter papers, which I'm going to now do. And hopefully this will overall give us a better final finish. So what I need now is, I'm looking for a little bit of rubber, foam. Actually, I'll come to the foam in a minute, but I'm just going to now use the 600 and get going, using my fingers only at this stage. The principle I'm going by is that if by the time we get past this 600, 800, the latest paper grit, and we haven't got rid of some of these little black indentations where we can see pen inside the scratches, then we're not likely to get rid of them beyond that point using finer and finer paper. So my feeling is we've got to get the combination of techniques just right, so that by the time we leave the 600 or 800 grit zone, we are already free of all little black marks which represent the scratches. Again, this is something you just get over time. I think we might just about be there. I think we could now move to the 800. Put quite a bit of pressure on that. notes there, quite hard to, they're easy to forget because they're at the end. And what you can do at this point is you can use a rubber block. So that's 800, this is 1000. You see I'm using this dry for a start. So I reckon we're just about on an hour, I think. I'll check my timer, it's still running. We're about somewhere around the hour, and we have still got some series of papers to do yet. And then we'll get right the way down to the micro mesh, which will then go right the way through to 12,000 with the micro mesh. And that will hopefully give us a quick polish with the Dremel and some polishing compound, and then we'll be done. And we'll have a set of frets that this guitar has never had, but also as a result a playing neck that this guitar has never had. Not since, well, certainly not since new, not even when new. That's the travesty of it, not even when new. Feels pretty smooth at this point in time, getting finer and finer. At this point I would be comfortable giving it a go over top, front to back without taking too much off. Then we go on to the micro mesh pads. Hello, completely unprepared. Welcome back to the workshop, Reloved Guitars, and it's all a bit of a mess in here at the moment, but we've got on the desk today, we've got the Squier Stratocaster, made by Fender, as everybody likes to tell you. Stratocaster California series, and the California series, you may have watched the other video. If you have, you'll see that the California series is a fine looking beastie, nothing wrong with that. Nice fat C-shaped neck or C-section neck, maple fingerboard, and a kind of nice warm orange sunburst, and everything else in pretty good condition. Hardly any marks on this guitar. Nicely kept. And I've been playing this all afternoon out in the garden. It's actually, I've got the action not high but medium on here, and it's actually quite nice like that. It's got a really nice resonance to it. So what I want to do with this one then, before we put this one up for sale, I'm tempted to keep it. I'm tempted to keep every guitar, to be quite honest. I'll need that. Tempted to keep everything, so I have to be disciplined and put things up for sale. So before we do, pretty much the only remaining job on this one is to set the intonation and maybe tweak the action just slightly, although I'm loath to do that since it's already working, and the The old adage bears very true, and it says if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we've already had the neck off and done the fret leveling. Everything's in good order on the neck. One little thing I did notice about this is we've put it back on. When we took the neck off, although I couldn't find a shim, once I put the neck back on, the action had completely vanished and the strings were flat against the fingerboard. Excuse me, I just got to stop the cat eating the wires here. No, my friend, this is not for you to eat. Let go with your claws. So I'll put that over here. Supposedly out of the way of Morris. Morris. Say hello to the buyer of the Strat California. This is Morris. He's a very sweet little fella. He's got no tail, but he's got a little stump that he likes to wag. He's very mischievous, aren't you? Yeah. So you go down there and wreak some more havoc on the shed floor. Yes, so the thing about this guitar was, having put the neck back on, the strings were slapped against the fretboard, and to be honest, I cannot understand why. Nothing made sense. The only thing that was possible was that it may not have been fully screwed down before, and that the action was sitting slightly differently. Anyway, what I have done is then I've put a small shim under here, which is actually a little piece of rubber, and you can see a tiny gap, but that gap's necessary. It's all tightly bolted down, but the gap is necessary to set the action on this, so that there is a proper height above the fingerboard of the strings. So nice fun this guitar has been, played all day. I'm going to now set the intonation and talk you through how I do it. I need to do one little thing here. The jack plug slot, or jack plug socket, is loose. It's quite a big one on this actually. So I'm just going to quickly look for a socket that works. It's maybe going to be too big for a socket. That's sometimes you can get a small socket in there to do that job. Nice one. You can sometimes do that job with a small socket. However, if you can't get a socket in there, you're pretty much condemned to doing it with a pair of pliers and or a small adjustable wrench. Not ideal, but if we take off the wrench, what I prefer to do before we do this is to take this off. What I don't want to do is end up turning this with a wrench or with a pair of pliers and just have it spinning around. So it's kind of easier if we can see what's underneath and hold on to the back end of it so that it doesn't spin around. That way we can make sure we've got it as tightly done up as possible without running the risk of spinning it all the way around on the inside, which can often break the contacts. So the contacts in there are fairly good condition. Now I said this was loose. Right, it is a little bit loose. I'm going to hold it in position, and I think about the only thing we're going to actually get in there to fit is going to be pliers. So we don't have an awful lot of choice of what will fit. In fact, we've got hardly any room at all. How people actually do this, or how it's done in the factory, I don't know. But again, it's not the ideal way of doing things. We are working with suboptimal tools here, not hugely recommended. But if you know that you're working with suboptimal tools, then you can at least be a little bit more careful in what you're doing. That to me is done up as far as I'm going to want to do it, and without running the risk of hurting myself in the process. So get the back on the right way round, Sam, and then we'll just do these back up. So this guitar, as far as I'm concerned, this guitar has been a surprise find. got it at a really good price in the week. Hadn't really tracked it or followed it on eBay, just came across it by accident, and got it on a snipe, which is kind of an auction that you don't take part in, you just sort of automatically shoot a bid at the end. But I was lucky and got the high bid. Picked it up on Tuesday. What is it, Morris? Bless him. Picked it up on Tuesday, and the rest is history. So brought it back, and as I say, I'm very impressed with it. I've really enjoyed playing it all day, so much so that Morris, what are you doing down there? Morris, he's going to come up the leg of the table in a minute. So much so that I've kind of considered keeping it, but everything on it, apart from what I've done to it, well, I've tightened up the machine heads. That was my main concern, actually, the tuners. When I played it, when I first got it, the tuners were rattling an awful lot, but I've done a little bit of tightening everything up, and it's really, really nicely tightened up now. So we've actually got a guitar that sounds pretty good, even on basic sort of settings, in a stratty kind of mode. It's got some nice strat tones, actually. I don't know how well this comes out on the particular recording, but nice. Bit too loud for the neighbours, probably. You know, these pickups, quite a bit of combined with the modelling on the amp, it's quite nice. Probably not slightly out of tune, but hey. So well, we'll get to tuning it any second now, because we've got to do the intonation. Well, Morris wrecks the shed for us. Right, so the game of intonation. This is where the idea of this is to make sure that, put it simply, that the string length, the free string length between the top of the bridge here and the nut is exactly the right length for this neck, because this neck is built to a certain notional scale length, and as a result the frets decrease in distance according to a very strict mathematical formula that corresponds to that scale length. So so that people can make standard size guitars, there is a standard scale length, which might be, I don't know, 25 and I think it's a quarter or something. There are a number of different ones, but there are some standard ones, and the Strat format follows a standard one. And so that if somebody's making a neck for that scale length, they will position the frets in a decreasing distance between each fret according to that a formula according to that scale length, so that the rate at which these things get closer together is correct for that scale length, which means when you fret a note, it will be perfect interval to stay in tune as you play up and down the guitar neck. If you put a neck that was built for a different scale length onto this guitar, what is it, Morris? Oh, he's so pathetic. What do you want? Do you want some cuddles? Hey? What's it crying for? Right, let's get down. Down you go. Yeah, if you put a neck on that was built or manufactured to a different scale length onto this guitar, then what would happen is you'd never get it in tune. You might get the open strings in tune, but nothing after that would work. Every chord you played would sound muddy and horrible, everything would be slightly out of tune. So the game of intonation, all that means is we have a guitar that's built for that scale length. It's got a neck in it that's built for that scale length. Put the neck and the body together should give you approximately that scale length. But to make exactly sure, you get a small amount of adjustment you can do, and you do it for each string. And you measure the amount you need to do the adjustment by using your ears, or in this case using a tuner. And this works as a, I've forgotten the name of this kind of tuner, stroboscopic tuner. It's a nice little iPhone app. But I'll put it somewhere close to the amp so you can turn it around so you can see it the right way up. Okay, so when I hit a note, you see that sharper V. Okay, so when you're in tune, all these little bars will slow down and stop. So the trick here, to just decide whether or not we've got the right length or whether we need to make an adjustment on these individual bridge saddles, is to ping the harmonic on the 12th fret and tune the guitar to that. That's close. Obviously I can't talk and do it at the same time because my voice affects the tuner. So it's close enough. Now if your guitar is correctly intonated, i.e. if the length of the string between the nut and the bridge is exactly right already for this guitar, i.e. we don't need any adjustment, you'll find that you'll know that because the note fretted on the 12th will be exactly in tune with the harmonic note. So here's the harmonic. And here's fretted. Close. In fact, that's spot on. Not often we get it that good without doing anything. Now we can move straight to the B. Perfectly in tune to start with, look at that. Slightly sharp. In fact, that's good enough. You take an average because it changes a tiny bit each time because you never fret the note with exactly the same pressure. It's a bit, I guess, best of three sometimes, but that's close enough. You get to know that when it's really out, you'll see those bars on the stroboscopic tuner go crazy because it'll be quite a bit off. Actually, these amounts you've just seen there are tiny. Also, notice what I'm doing is I'm trying to hold down all the other strings and keep them from vibrating. Spot on as well. So somebody's done this before, which is great. Okay, that's a little bit sharp. We can tweak that one. So the secret to this now is you've got some little screws on the back of your tremolo plate, and they connect to the individual bridge saddles. And what you have to do now is that when I played the fretted note on this string, it was slightly sharp, which means the string is, if the note is slightly sharp, it means the string is a tiny bit too short, which means we need to pull the bridge saddle backwards to extend the free length of the string. And we do this by getting our screwdriver into the back of here, and I can never remember which way it is, but you'll see it. You turn it one way or the other. It's quite stiff actually. Turn it one way or the other to make it go. Hard to get to, very difficult. In fact, I'm going to put some glasses on here because if you get it wrong, you can easily strip out the screws on here. There's a Phillips head slot as well, a slot as well as a Phillips head. So I'm going to get myself a slot screwdriver out, give myself a bit more leverage on this. Yes, Morris, I need leverage. So get a good bite on it and then turn it. So I'm pulling it back now. I'm trying anyway. It's difficult because it's quite close to the body of the guitar. So pulling it back will make the note go sharp, so the first thing you have to do is retune it. Spot on. So that's done. Now we'll go on to the next one. Again, slightly sharp, and we want to pull that string, pull that saddle back a tiny bit, only a small amount, and again it's clockwise to drag the saddles back. You're winding them in. Being as careful as we can, only a tiny amount, and again it will make it sharp. So we'll bring it back. Still a little bit sharp, so we'll pull it back a tiny bit more. Again, with these things, really careful. Got to get a good bite on this because otherwise you'll skip across the head of the screw. Spot on. Okay, next. Close. Good enough. Right, pretty much spot on. So we want to just tune the rest again. Lovely. Fine sounding beastie. Right, there we go. That is... It's interesting. What am I feeling? Oh, I'm feeling the skunk stripe. I thought, oh no, we've got a split down the back of the guitar. But we don't. That is but the skunk stripe that you can feel where it joins the body down there. It's a slight little lip. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, the Squier by Fender Stratocaster California. It's got nothing to do with California, but it's a nice orangey sunburst, really good condition, bodywork's great shape, perfectly intonated, nice middling sort of action. I'm going to leave it there because it's got plenty of adjustment space if anyone needs it. It also has very, very well leveled frets, but it also was the guitar so far out of about 12 or 15 or so guitars that I've done. It was the one with the most substantially uneven frets. I was really surprised actually that a guitar like this would have so many profoundly out of kilter frets. Put right by the tried and tested method of leveling from above, not trying to hammer them in with a hammer and damage the slots or break the glue seal or whatever. Don't go for that kind of stuff personally. My view is to work with what's there. If it's already glued firmly in place, work the top off and get everything level that way. Harder work, more time spent, you've got to reprofile every single fret, but when you've done it, you've got a guitar that you can play anywhere on the neck and it plays true. Beautifully done. I'm actually quite impressed with this. If I didn't have a house full of guitars, I'd probably keep this one because I like the thick C-section neck. So I'm hoping that if you've spent time with me watching this thing being taken apart and the neck done on it, I'm hoping that you'll be confident and want to have a go at this guitar yourself. Okay, so hoping to hear from you on the old eBay channels. Thanks for watching.